Manamune is really good on Thresh actually, for a good number of reasons. It's been around a couple of weeks of me using it on and off, but I have had overall very good experiences with it, primarily in top lane, but you could use it as an AD carry in the bot lane if you feel like doing that as well. At level 9, Thresh will have 570 mana, and alongside Manamune's base 250 mana, that grants you roughly 51 AD without stacking. After stacking to 480 mana on the Manamune, it becomes cost effective as a standalone item, giving you 61 AD at level 9 as Thresh. Once you reach 70 AD from Manamune, it becomes as cost efficient as the equivalent gold cost of AD, BF Sword and 3 longswords, roughly 2400 gold. This can be both accelerated and surpassed by champion levels, mana items and runes like Presence of Mind. You can also take Biscuit Delivery, which gives 50 mana per biscuit eaten or sold. You can find more maths on the item on Sneaky's Manamune AD carry videos, as they're very well presented and much better thought out than I can manage, so I'll now talk about why Manamune and Muramana would be good on Thresh specifically. Thresh only has 1 AD ratio, but it is a fantastically high 300% total AD ratio essentially, combining the natural 1-to-1 basic attack AD ratio with his 200% total AD ratio on hit magic damage charging for up to 10 seconds. Since Manamune is the highest AD you can have in a single item and for a low price of 2400 gold, it is extremely desirable. I tend to have 2 build paths for the purpose of either critting or one-shotting, or going for more DPS as an on-hit champion, using his magic damage on hit equal to the number of souls Thresh has harvested. With the high AD, Manamune is very effective for boosting your burst, sent over range with rapid fire cannon and supplemented with crit and more damage like Stormrazor. The Muramana on hit effect also has great synergy with the on hit builds. Therefore, Muramana is able to pick and even blend these builds together excessively well. As an AD item, it works well with crit, unlike Wit's End for example. As an on-hit, it synergies with attack speed, and as a tank or bruiser build, it gains value both for AD and on-hit from mana you acquire through items like Frozen Heart. The problem that can arise is that buying Manamune early to stack it can put yourself behind on stats and become potentially easy pickings in the top lane. Thresh, however, is pretty good at not dying if not overextended, with his ranged auto attacks able to safely farm in the tower with relative ease, and his shield on Lantern and Flay self-peel. Combine this with something like Fleet Footwork for movement speed and sustain, and he can survive the lane quite well despite the disadvantage. Even then, you should not build tier, as it's a complete waste of gold as far as laning phase will be concerned. Build pickaxe first, then finish Manamune. I'll sooner buy boots or shard than buy tier most of the time, unless a lane is easy enough for me to just buy the tier and finish Manamune on my next back and TP for example. As such, you can actually press advantages by harassing with pickaxe, or else just let it help you CS and the turret easier. For this reason, Fleet Footwork is a great rune choice, but depending on matchup or preference, you can consider Hail of Blades and Grasp as well. Plus the attack can be good too. Since the builds are so varied, there's so many ways you can go about it, so I'd suggest you go with the flow and change per game. But a good starting point is Manamune, Rapid Fire Cannon, and Stormrazor. This gives a satisfying crit burst we all know and love, with high AD and energized passives, with attack speed on RFC and Stormrazor to help with the Muramana on hit. And then you can build whatever you feel like later. Try Phantom Dancer or Runans for some more crits, Wit's End for more on hit and defense, or Deadman's Plate for some tankiness with extra burst on that first auto attack. Be creative and have fun. Now, we'll look at a replay of a game I played with Muramana not too long ago, where I demonstrated, I think, everything I've talked about in this video so far, and the insane versatility of Muramana and its ability to blend together with fresh on-hit and crit styles. I was just playing this game casually with no recording, and I decided that a replay style video would be good for this kind of, I guess, analysis if you could call it that. In any case, I hope you enjoy. Hello and welcome to this replay commentary. As we've seen in the intro, Manamune Thresh is actually surprisingly effective. More so than maybe you'd first think, especially if you've not seen Sneaky's explanations, which hopefully I've gone over in the intro. For this game, I think it's a really good demonstration of everything that Muramana can do, because we literally build a bit of everything that we've worked towards. So as I think I've mentioned in the intro, which I haven't actually recorded yet, so hope to God I remember, Manamune works like a Bloodthirster. Oh, sorry. Works like the old Bloodthirster, which used to be like 70 AD, and then you'd get a stack every minion or so, which gives you like an extra point something AD, and then you'd get up to 100 AD. It's really nice. You have a similar kind of thing like that, where you have a 2,400 gold AD item called Manamune, and then as the game goes over, as you keep auto-attacking, which gets you stacks of mana, you'll get more AD because you get mana. You get AD based on your mana. Muramana gives you an on-hit as well. So not only are you getting the highest AD possible in a single item, which works well with Thresh's auto attacks and his E passive doing 200% of your total AD as bonus magic damage, effectively being a 300% auto attack damage. That makes sense? And a hook here to land a little bit of a trade, and to be honest, doing any kind of trade with this Tahm Kench is fairly stupid of me. And then I realise this and have to force him to back off. Evelynn comes up and then I do something stupid, but that's going to be fine. So I try to juke the hate spike and I always forget that. I do not get feared, but Tahm Kench flashes after me, eats me, and then I hook him at the same time. But it doesn't matter, I've hooked him from within and I will be dead. Sure, but this is exactly what I want to demonstrate to you with this replay. That's why I've picked this game out. It's great if you're playing from behind. So up against an oppressive laner, Tahm Kench is not easy for Thresh to deal with. As you might have seen in some of the other games, especially the other Manamune games I've been uploading, Thresh can really, I guess, dominate some laners, go even with others, press others, kind of like someone like Quinn would. Only you have a little bit more defense than Quinn, I would argue. Less kiting, but more self-peel. I think there's a slight difference. You also have a shield and other stuff. Anyway. Muramana also has an on-hit, which essentially gives you synergy with attack speed, and attack speed is something that you like to build on Thresh in the late game when Muramana comes active anyway, because you get on-hit literally 1-to-1 with the number of souls you collect. 100 souls, 100 magic damage per auto attack. So whatever your soul count is, that is always the minimum amount of on-hit damage your E-passive does. With charging or without. In this game, we're going to be building literally all of the above. We're going to have a Manamune, then we're going to go rapid fire cannon, which is going to give us some of that range that we need to be effective in team fights. And then, unlike the usual, we're not going to be building Storm Razor because we need to be tanky. Instead, we can get a Frozen Mallet. So whereas Storm Razor and Rapid Fire is a really powerful combo because you get a ranged slow which can help you lead into a hook, Frozen Mallet does something similar. It's not quite as strong, but it's similar. Still has 30 AD. It's only like 25 less. Or is it 20 less now? I don't remember. You still get slow. It still helps you get in range for a flay more often than it does let you try to land a hook, but it definitely helps with that as well. And of course helps your team. And you'll see that it gets quite a lot of use throughout this game going off the Rapid Fire. We also then build some more attack speed items. Of course, Rapid Fire Cannon, even Storm Razor itself, is a bit of an attack speed item, having synergy with the on-hit. And overall, Muramana, although tier is extremely weird to build, Muramana really rounds out a lot of things in AD Thresh top builds. Anyway, we get a really nice gank from the Rammus. And we do not get any value from the box, but he does stay within the box for some time, which gives us enough time to pelt him down. Before, of course, he builds a absolute ton of armor. He's already got a Babby Cinder. He's now got a Spectre's Cowl, which will render our damage useless. Evelynn comes around to interrupt the Herald, so I drop a control ward so we can see exactly where she is. Probably not the most useful thing, maybe, I don't know. In any case, I've just given someone 30 gold when they go corrects that. And we're playing very defensive. For the runes, we have Fleet Footwork, which I've always said is a really good thing to play defensively with. Gives you that sustain, gives you the move speed as well for kiting. So you'll see, or you would have seen in the early game that we kind of fast forwarded over, that I was constantly attacking him with Fleet Footwork up and then backing away. It's kind of useless because Tahm Kench's sustain is so good anyway. But overall, against any kind of laner, Fleet Footwork will give you more survivability to stay on the turret. I remember on stream recently that I accidentally suppressed the attack and really suffered against a certain laner, I forgot who, and it was just pushed under tower forever with no sustain until eventually getting tower dived. Fleet Footwork gives you more options to stay, and that's exactly what we do. We haven't gone back yet. Instead, confident with the Fleet Footwork, we stayed in lane up till we could buy Manamune straight up. You don't have to buy Manamune straight up. You can buy pickaxe, which is a great buy on Thresh. Pickaxe and boots, there's basically no reason to buy tier unless you basically can get away with it, I guess. But when you can get away with tier, you can get away with mana. Tier stacks so slowly on Thresh because he has such high cooldowns. And you want to save his abilities typically because they have such high utility in them. That you don't necessarily want to be spamming abilities kind of just randomly just to stack a tier. And it doesn't really give value either because he doesn't have mana issues in top lane. Not normally, unless you're comboing literally all the time. Again, Fleetfoot works sustain. We've also purchased a refillable pot to help with the sustain. Because Tahm Kench's poke is getting very incessant. That does help us. We do get a little flay on him and the Sunfire gives him a little hit there. But we don't do enough damage to try to take him out. Tahm Kench has his shield. He's got his Spectres. He's got lots of things. He's gone back for a Sunfire now. I'm just throwing a lantern in the bush to make sure he's not there. Because we knew Evelynn was here. And Evelynn does a little bit of a dive. And gets hooked and is not able to ult out. Does she even have ult? I think she did, but she was already ignited and the tower had already locked on, so I guess she was just dead, right? Maybe she could have got out with that. In any case, I lived and she died. This gives me enough to buy a Merc Dreads, which is very useful against... I believe it's not useful against Tarm Suppression, which is his W, but it's useful against his stun, and of course, the heck ton of magic damage the enemy team have. You might notice at this point that the enemy team doesn't actually have an AD carry. They have a Mordekaiser bot who's kind of feeding as Rush to Bramble Vest. But for some part of the game, we don't have an AD carry either, so we're not focusing on that. We're focusing on the damage we do. For this, I was waiting for Rammus to land taunt. There it is. I wanted to hook when he was already taunted to make sure it gets Ilan rather than getting juked. Mordekaiser goes into the Death Realm. We go ahead, we lantern our Yone there, who backs away when Evelynn does an ult. This Yone was shit scared of the Evelynn, by the way, the whole time. We go ahead, we check the blue, it's gone. There's two people there, Yone's on low health, so we just go ahead and go bot lane instead and try to gank these guys. Little move speed from Zilean helps us get in range for a guaranteed hook. Not guaranteed, he could have juked. But then he turns onto him, so we just go ahead and peel that before Zilean, of course, double bombs for the kill as a support. That's what supports do these days. I'm not that mad, do it. Kill on Zed because... yeah, Yone knocked him up, and then we're able to just land the hook. We're just kind of speeding through this, don't worry. A lot of this is generic Thresh stuff. A support could have done what I just did, maybe. If Yone had a bit of extra damage, perhaps. Zilean decides to push my lane because that's what good supports do. Only when I kind of back and then I'm coming from spawn do I go ahead and just throw out my abilities randomly. Because with Manamune, you just need to auto attack to stack the tier. Well, that's all you need to do with Manamune when you have it. Tier needs abilities though. And therefore you can even see like my auto attack rhythm on these minions is a little bit weird just because I'm trying to maximize the stacks. When you're playing a champion that can't really stack tier necessarily or doesn't want to buy tier, then kind of stuff you want to do. 3 people gank our MF, so MF's not having a good day. She's rushed to Duskblade with swiftness, but it's not enough because she's just dying to these very heavily armored guys. Tahm Kench with the Sunfire will get taunted under the turret and then played inside and essentially perma-locked. And Yone will die once again. Once again, Rammus in the Death Realm. So we're just going to go ahead and push Taric a little closer to it. The bomb damage, doing a huge number we try to chase. But Evelynn instead camps in the bush and is forced to flash because she doesn't have ult. That's why we were confident in that fight. Anyway, we're speeding through this. We want to get to the Manamune. Our first item is Rapid Fire Cannon. I fail a hook here. There's the Rapid Fire Cannon range. Zed panics and ults. I panic flash, even though I successfully juked already. Did not want to be giving up a 600 gold shutdown, so maybe the decision in itself was justified. With that in mind, the enemy is very bursty with a lot of assassins, so we go ahead and work towards our Frozen Mallet like I mentioned earlier. We could go Stormrazor. We do have a Rammus tank, but I do need to be a bit more bruisery in order to sustain long enough to get enough on hits with the Manamune later. Whilst we're stacking tier, we might as well stack our Fist as well. You can get up to 100 extra health. Yeah. We'll be turning that into Frozen Mallet, but it'll be nice in case anyone ganks, like they do right now. Yep. Tahm Kench. I don't think I win this 1v1, but it's not going to be a 1v1 because Mordekaiser will be right around the corner to end my life. At this point, enemy team is dewarding the dragon. team is as a whole just doing the jungle. I remember this Yone complaining that people shouldn't have done anything about the dragon despite there being 2 people top lane, and he recalls after this red buff. But yeah, we're not here to judge the players necessarily. Oh, apparently I'm typing in spectate. Oh no, he backs away. Tahm Kench is still top. Mordekaiser just about coming up. It's a 3v3. Yone probably wouldn't have won this fight, so he's not necessarily to blame. We did have a Zilean that got tower dived up top lane when the minions were up here, and we had basically no threat there, because I don't think he's running Demolish this time. Anyway, we're not here to argue about that. Personally, I think 4 members of the team could have tried to get Dragon. That's okay. We're here for the late game. Great thing about... Oh, wow. I thought that they went away for a bit. They do come back. So, Rapid Fire Cannon. It's great because it gives you that burst with synergies with the AD you've bought. Synergies with all of this stuff that gives Thresh the range she needs, like we mentioned. But it is still an attack speed item, and that is going to work, of course, with the AD we buy, but also with the Muramana on his effect. And then with other attack speed items we might buy later. It will still synergy quite well. Since we're quite close to our Manamune now, 24 minutes, so not the earliest Manamune, but it's fresh, so give me a break. We just kind of walk over and we peel this guy off. I get a very early Zilean ult, and in my haste to use it, I basically and then that wide Evelynn ult was going to kill the both of us. With Zilean staying behind, just so he can die as well, I suppose. But our Chad Ramus will just run her down, and then that will be the end of that. Still, I have yet to farm. Mallet is now complete, so we have a bit more utility in the slows in the team fight, and the peeling, and the catching. As team go about their daily lives, and Zed goes ahead and pushes bot lane. I push top lane to get that turret. Zed's going to get that turret. I back to deal with him, and he'll be forced to back. He'll ult onto MF here. Unfortunately, can't really use an ability because of that Edge of Night that has not been popped. But we do manage to get him away from MF before she dies anyway. Muramana is now complete, so you can see that the damage is a little bit higher now. We're not going to be one-shotting necessarily, not at this point in time, but we're not building for that. Still, very high AD item. 35 plus 47, that's pretty fucking high for a single item, especially for 2,400 gold. Very, very nice. Do a lot of burst to him, where Mordekaiser finishes him off. And we also, because the enemy is so high on the AP, we have bought a Negatron Cloak going into Wit's End. The attack speed once again, giving us a new on-hit and an on-hit. Nice damage. Attack speed to synergy with the Muramana on-hit. With that, our damage has gotten much better. Someone called a Baron, but went back on it. Now we'll get a recurve bow, increasing our DPS exponentially. The only kind of engaging. There was a Zed around here that I'm looking for. And he'll pop down over there. So we go back to defend our guys here. Yone ults a Edge of Night, making extremely efficient use. Luckily, team does learn to back away just as the turret ult ends. And we're going to get a lot of damage on Evelynn because they don't respect it. They don't expect it. The Muramana has finished. They're just able to get away from that. We come around this side. I'm going to target the squishy Zed. He's going to back off. We can target the Mordekaiser, whose Conqueror is going to sustain him, unfortunately. The Tahm Kench will stun me after the Zilean stun ends. The Zilean ult much more on point this time, and I will die. I won't. Zed will come in greedily for the kill. Tahm Kench could have finished this on his own, but that will let me get Zed before I will also perish. But not without team doing a lot of damage. At this point, Yone should really back out. As you can see, signals to be careful, but it's a Yone player. He's not going to use Q to back away. He does not respect it. His reasoning is that Yone does 50% magic damage, but he also has a Spirit Visage, so it's not happening. Not happening. As a whole, I think 4 out of 5 of us died. And I think 5 out of 5 of them died with Tahm Kench dying to the respawned MF. Technically a win? Anyway, more farming to be done. So we have our Wit's End. So this is going to be incredible for the healing at below 50%. It's going to be incredible for the damage. Magic resist. Now Tahm uses his TP here. But as soon as he clears this wave, he's actually going to walk up and do a very long roll all the way up to Baron, which I didn't even see coming. Meanwhile, what? I don't know if that was a replay glitch or if Rammus just kind of glitched out. In any case, team does a 4v5, perhaps unknowingly. They don't really have vision. Actually, I don't know if everyone was even in this fight. But I'm not there. I'm walking up because, of course, I have Ignite, not TP. But MF is... No. Zillion is already dead, so we don't have a revive. I kind of walk in, I slap Tarek because he's on no health. Try to get the Zed, but he's juking out like crazy. I try to defend Rammus, so I try to do the damage that I can. And as you can see, I'm doing quite a significant amount of damage for someone who's built so defensively. Yone will be inspired to go in and he'll die too. With that though, Rammus will be able to escape, so I guess there's that. Not the best plays. But just imagine someone piloting this build with better players than me. It'd be incredible. The point of this is not to show you how to win flawlessly against some normal players. It's like we're playing essentially from behind, and some of that is my fault. But this is where the Muramana is going to shine. We have 3 Drakes to there too. Tahm Kench kind of ahead, like a bit positioned very aggressively forward. We've got Yone on the Evelynn here, and they're all focusing the Yone, which is technically better than focusing Tahm, but Tahm is such a heavy meat shield for them that actually us killing him here is quite a win. Zed not expecting it, we see a lot of damage being done, and then we'll slap him into another dimension. Right before the Tarek ult hits, Evelynn, having fallen off, not able to get in range of anyone that she can actually kill, instead will just simply tap me because I've got magic resist. I know she shreds it, Yone pointed that out in the game. But it really doesn't matter. I've also got a Frozen Mallet. And Mordekaiser's simply not fed enough, simply not enough damage to do anything here. We call the Baron. And we shred it now. We've got a recurve bow as well, which is boosting our DPS again because we have on hits. Attack speed is so much more worth it, including, of course, 130 souls that we have. So that's 130 extra magic damage on top of the 80 magic damage on Wit's End, on top of Muramana's 3% of current mana, which is like a lot. What was that, like 75 from the Muramana? Maybe a bit more at the current mana I'm at. Still pretty damn good. And we now have Rage Blade, which is going to pop right through the magic resist and the thorn mails that the enemies have. Of course, magic resist also going to help against the thorn mails and stuff. Now we definitely have damage. We group up with Baron, I think. I hope we did. I hope we do. I hoped we did. Do. Fences, eh? I'm Kench positioned a bit forward. This time I'm a little more reserved because we don't have as much vision on people. I did not see Evelynn on that ward there. That was my mistake. I could have hooked this Tahm and killed him much faster. But I was really worried about Evelynn, Zed coming from the side, but Evelynn decided that she was going to peel the Rammus off rather than go for our MF. So MF is very free to just kind of walk up and beat the crap out of them. At this point, MF finished her Black Cleaver, which gives the team so much more power. Nice little slap there against the enemy armored opponents here. Rammus is just going to essentially run it down in the best possible way, allowing us to do a ton of damage, clean up the enemy team, and take the Nexus just like that. You might be wondering just how useful... Oh wow, we're going a bit offset here. You might be wondering just how useful AD Thresh was here. How good was the on-hit? You can see that we're 15-5-14, but that's not the most important part. Rammus, like, team... I liked this team. They played well, and Yone, you know, he said some dumb shit, but he didn't flame ever. And he asked everyone to honor me at the end. I don't know if that came up in the replay chat. Let's go ahead and look at that, yeah? You might have noticed a Medjai's AP, by the way. That was a request. Someone begged me to buy Medjai's while playing AP Thresh. See, damage was pretty damn good, better than the rest of my team. beaten only by Zed, who was the only AD on a team of essentially full AP, and he just slapped up MF multiple times on Yone too. We've had multiple Muramana games, as you've seen on the channel probably. I can't say it's like the best build. It might be better than what we already do. 2,400 gold for the Manamune is cheaper than the 3,200 or so. 3,300? I can't remember. For the Storm Razor. Really damn good. I recommend you try it out. Just remember, don't build tier. Go pickaxe, then go Muramana. Or go Manamune, then go rapid fire. And you can go on here, you can go crit. You can do both. As you can see here, we've essentially done both with the Muramana, giving us a huge AD. AD on the Rage Blade even, but rapid fire giving us the range before we transition to the Wit's End in the Frozen Mallet for the tankiness and the sustained damage. We really do have a bit of everything in this build, and it's wonderful. It feels really good. If you, especially if you're experienced with both builds, give it a try. It's really fun. I'm not sure if it will always work. If I fight a more skilled top laner, and I have lost a few lanes, and then I've had a few games where I've lost lane. And it really spirals into just terrible because the enemy top laner was able to snowball and carry. And I'm still on a mana. Can go badly, but as you can see in this game, it went okay, despite having essentially lost lane against Tarm. And I think I've had some others. Let me just... In the match history, I think my last Manamune game was a defeat. Big oof. What happened in this one? I don't remember. Oh, yeah. Hope you guys have enjoyed this, hopefully deeper than usual analysis in a replay. I know replays aren't as popular, so I'm trying to bundle this as more of a guide. Hope you guys have enjoyed. Check out the stream, links below. Be sure to like, subscribe, ring the notification bell to know when things come. I might make a more detailed, especially updated for the preseason and season 11 fresh guide. And of course, let me know anything else you want to see. Thanks, take care, bye bye.